And welcome back to Frog Boy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're gonna talk a little bit about politics. This isn't a politics channel. This is normally I have something to say because it's been bugging me all freaking day. I said something on Twitter. So the Supreme Court killed Biden's free college money. You know, I'm going to give you $20,000 for free or whatever. They killed that. They completely killed that. We all knew that was going to happen from the moment they said they were going to do that. Everybody that was smart enough or could see that coming a mile away knew that was going to happen. Like, you knew that was going to happen. So now they got people out there like talking about like, yeah, we need to stack the court and get more judges. And just all of these idiotic freaking ideas, or blaming Republicans for grandstanding on people paying their school loans. Look, I'm right there. I owe school loans too. I am right there with everybody else when it comes to the point like, hey man, they are taking advantage of us. Just that interest, that compounding interest that they stack on your school loans, that's ridiculous. Now, do I think the government should give everybody? No, they should not give anybody their free college. We all went to school. We all have our debt. We all have to figure out a way to pay this. But yes, the government could 100% soften the blow. And there's ways to do that. Instead of the Democrats or the progressives or whatever always trying to be like, yeah, man, we need to give it away free. We need to. No, that is not the answer. That completely absolves everybody for going and trying to get something. If you give it to people, then it doesn't matter. There has to be a way. So, in my mind, because these school debts, man, they cripple you no matter what you do. Like, it makes it harder to buy a house. It makes it harder to buy stuff. You have this. I mean, there's no bankruptcy out of it. There's nothing that you can do about it. And the more it goes up, the more it affects your debt to income ratio, which really hurts you no matter what. Like, it limits what you can buy and what you can have. Like, it makes it almost impossible to kind of move up when you have that debt unless you pay it off. And it's structured that way for a reason. They structured it like that to make you pay it off faster. But it completely did the opposite, because nobody can really afford to like pay these things back and live, especially now. Especially now, if you're making like $15 an hour, there's no way you could pay back a $30,000 school loan and live. Like, there's no way. Like you can't do that. And I personally kind of think that was by design. I think it was by design, honestly. Any American citizen can go and get loans for college. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter about your credit worthiness. I was literally a drug addict when I went to school. Like, not even, I hadn't even been clean for 6 months and I enrolled in college. I hadn't even, like, my brain, I didn't even really know what was going on. And that right there, it was like, oh my gosh, and now I had this noose around my neck. Like, this noose around my neck that's dragging me and my family down. My wife and I have been trying to buy a house, and because we can't effectively use my income because of the debt to income ratio is so freaking ridiculous. For my job right now, I'm going to tell you that this, and like, yeah, this is obviously my fault or whatever, but I was raising my two oldest daughters, my two youngest children. So we had those two, me, my wife, and grandma, and her older husband living here as well. So I was able, because of how many people I have, my payment was zero. My payment was zero for like almost 10 years. In that 10 years, my $30,000 went to 62, or my $37,000 went to $62,000 that I owe. And I wasn't really paying attention to it. Like, I wasn't paying attention to it. And like, seriously, I mean, I was kind of paying attention to it, but at the same time, I was like, well, hey, your payment's zero, so you don't have to pay anything, because I wasn't making that good of money all the way up till then. I was doing a 5-year apprenticeship, and then I finally started making enough money. But now that I'm making enough money, like, my payment on that's like almost $800, almost $1,000 a month, $1,000 a month for these school loans. And I'm like, are you guys kidding me? Like, all of that compound interest is what is destroying people. It is literally destroying people. And I'm not here to try to beg anybody for any kind of money or any kind of help or any of that stuff. I'm just saying that there has to be a better way. The Democrats cannot keep kicking this down the road and filling these young people with false hope, because it's just going to destroy them. No, there is a solution. There's 100% a solution. Anybody who decides to go to college, and this can be like a blanket for all American citizens. If you go to college, your retirement age goes from 65 to, like 1, 2, 3 years, whatever, depending on, whatever you're going into. If you're doing a 2-year, they add like an extra year and a half or something to your, like a year and a half automatically just for anything up to an associate's degree, anything up to a bachelor's degree, 2.5 to 3 years. And then anything above that, 3 to 5 years longer that you have to wait before you can retire. Because anybody going for something like that's going to cost them that much, like a doctor or a lawyer, they're going to be working well past that anyway. So it doesn't really matter. They can wait to retire. And see, that also has like a little bit of a benefit for like the retirement savings too. Because me, in my line of work, where I work, I probably live maybe 5 years after I retire. Okay, cool, whatever, man. If I don't make it, if I die working, then yeah, all of my money, like all of that's paid back anyways. It doesn't even matter. It's all freaking paid back. They need to find a way to tie college loans to retirement. If they did that, it would solve the problem. There would be no problem. And I guarantee every single Republican in freaking office would be like, yeah, dude, that's a great idea. Let's get her done. And the Democrats would be like, well, no, because if we solve this problem, then people they'll be happy and they'll have good lives. Like, seriously, you're trying to tell me we got all these people in the government and all these college people and they can't figure this out? You're trying to tell me that they can't figure this out. We spend almost $1 trillion a year on our government, and we can't figure out how not to feed kids when they go to school. For parents, they can't afford to pay their school loans and freaking raise their family and buy school lunch for their kids. You're trying to tell me we can't figure that out? You're trying to tell me we can't figure that out. Now, I mean, I feel like our government has a lot of programs that are literally useless, that are completely useless and redundant. Why not actually do their jobs instead of jumping on TV all the time like YouTubers? Why not? Why aren't they doing their jobs? Like, seriously, why does a guy right here with just over 5,000 subs have to sit here and be frustrated because of this and be like, look, man, I would love that. I would love the option to be able to be like, all right, yeah, man, I would choose to retire 3 years late to not have to pay my school loans back. But I mean, here's the good part. Say you're like, yeah, dude, I want to retire early. Pay your school loans off, and you could still retire early. Nothing would be stopping you. You could pay those off interest free without having to stack a whole bunch of money on the debt or anything. You just pay. You're like, hey, yeah, instead of being like, you could just have them automatically withhold it. Be like, yeah, I want to have them take out an extra $30 to put towards my school loans with whatever else is going out into there. Why do we not have options like this? Something so simple. Why do we not have options like this? Why in this country? Why do we not have? Why does it have to be free or completely freaking unmanageable for a lot of people? Because think about all these dumb kids that are going to college right now. The ones that are running around talking about their pronouns and all of this stuff. And like all of the nonsense they're teaching them in college nowadays. These guys don't even know what's going to hit them. They don't even know what's going to hit them. They don't understand just how freaking hard it's going to. Like, the only thing separating those morons from the people in tent cities in California and downtown Salt Lake is the government's giving them money to go to school. That's literally the only thing that separates them. As soon as they get out of college and they got to go find a real job, I would say the percentage of them people that are going to be in a tent city is going to be a lot higher, because a lot of these companies are getting about tired of the nonsense. I mean, you see what happened to Bud Light over the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing. I think the companies are going to be like, yeah, we're done with this wokeness. We're done. It's affecting our bottom line. Our shareholders are going to sue us for losing their money. We have to stop pandering to this nonsense. I don't know what else to tell you, man. Like if you're a Democrat or Republican or anything, this, to me, that just sounds like a good idea. That just sounds like a good idea. You know, the whole thing about Roe v. Wade, frankly, it's nobody's business, man. That whole Roe v. Wade was, seriously, the privacy between a woman and her doctor. They should have kept it that way. Should have kept it that way, private. But right after that got passed, they're like, yeah, let's build a freaking Planned Parenthood on every. Let's get us. They're like, let's get a whole bunch of freaking abortion clinics up and then let's market it. I'm like, really, man? Like nobody guaranteed you the right to have an abortion. They just said that you have the privacy, and they take advantage of it. You give them an inch and they take 10 miles. And then they come crying back, and like later when there's actually somebody that challenges it. That's what the Supreme Court's there for, guys. I don't know whatever these idiots out there are telling you. No. To me, it just sounds scummy to try to pack the court. And I know that like right now it's kind of lopsided. There's definitely more conservatives in the Supreme Court justice. Like I get it. And you know, they always be like, well, elections have consequences. No, it doesn't have to be that way. We can, this whole two-party thing, man, is just such garbage. And man, the only reason I'm even talking about this is because it obviously affects me. I have school loans, and I want to like try to help the people out there that are trying to. I just feel like our government's scummy, man. I feel like our government's taking advantage of the most vulnerable people in the nation, man. The people that Biden gets in there, he's like, yeah, man, we're going to cut gas price, or we're not going to give money, or we're not going to give what is it, like stimulus to the oil companies. Well, that's what they've been doing for the longest time. That's why our gas prices have always been low, because they've always been given that stimulus. But then he pulls all that back, so now we're having to pay full price for that. And because we're having to pay full price for that, companies are having to pay full price for that. So now the cost of everything is going up. Like that one thing, that little bit of money, that amount of money that we guaranteed from taxpayers' money we're already paying into it, taxpayers' money to give to oil companies to keep costs low. We're paying for that ourselves on top of the money that we already pay for taxes. So now we're getting double taxed even more to fund what? Solar farms, like whatever. Maybe someday the technology will be good enough. Maybe we'll find a resource on the planet that will make it sustainable. But right now we don't have that. We don't have that. I don't know. I mean, my wife doesn't talk to me about any kind of politics or anything like this. I just get shoved in the bedroom, and so I don't know, man. And I feel like a lot of you guys, you know, because it's obviously, it's already been obvious. I've already come out and said, you know, obviously, I lean more conservative, but that doesn't mean I'm conservative to the point where I'm not understanding and where I can't like look across the aisle to somebody else. Cause I have a lot I'm in the freaking union, man. Most of the people I know are Democrat, and I get along just fine with them. You know, we might not always agree on stuff, but we get along just fine. And that's the thing, man. Once we lose our ability to communicate with each other, everything's lost, man. Like, we don't need another civil war. We don't need that. We all need to turn off MSNBC, turn off Fox News, turn off all of them politics, and just learn how to be good to each other. Because, man, I see so much division out there, and it's freaking, and it's insane, and it bleeds into everything. And like my one thing that I really love is video games, and it bleeds into my video games and into the channel and everything else. And I honestly just pray for the people out there that are falling for this consistently over and over and over again for the whole thing. Like after I got out of college and after Obama was president and like Hillary Clinton was running and Donald Trump was running, I was like, you know what, man, and I've been this way for a very long time. I've been so sick and tired of politics because I'm sick of the lies and stuff. I casted a vote for Donald Trump. Was just like, whatever, man. This dude, like, it's better than another Democrat, and they're just doing whatever they want to do. And I did. Like, I mean, I voted for Obama, and then I voted. Yeah, I was so sick and tired of being lied to and fed all that stuff. And I was younger then. I was a lot younger then. I was still gullible, just gotten out of college, still kind of gullible to all that. But man, you get tired of the lies. You do. And why do you think older people start getting bitter? Because we get lied to so much when we're younger that by the time we figure things out, start thinking on our own, all of a sudden we're bitter and we're like, what do they call it? What do they call the older generation? The boomers now or whatever? Like, no, man, people just get so sick and tired of being lied to. And I don't know what to tell you, man. I really don't. I'm not trying to tell you who to vote for. I don't even care who you vote for. I'm just saying, make your vote count. Like, if you're going to vote for somebody, me personally, man, I'm to the point where I would just vote against. I want to vote for people that actually have a plan. Whenever they sit there and they trash talk each other, those people are automatically, I'm like, nope, I'm not voting for that person. I don't care about the other candidate. I want to know what you're going to do to make things better. That's what I want to know. I've only voted. I'm only going to be voting in local elections from now on. Pay more attention to what's going on locally, because that could definitely have a better outcome for your immediate life than voting for these Washington politicians that just sit there and, like, they don't even do their jobs. I mean, how many times are they like, oh my gosh, we got to fix this spending bill before we can't pay our bills? And I'm like, really, guys? You got a whole freaking, like, however long it takes, and you couldn't figure this out? And they're going to sit and fight over stupid stuff, and then they're just going to pass it. They're going to do this long show and dance. Like, no, man, get rid of all of these old people that are in there making our lives, like, seriously, why do we need another war? Why do we need to send money to freaking, you know what I mean? Like, why? Like, what's going on? Like, why is it like we've been in perpetual war forever? I don't know, man. This was just a vent session. Sorry, man. I hope this helps somebody figure it out and get out of the rat race before it's too late, because I seriously just can't deal. Like, I just can't. Like, I don't care about politics or politicians. I really don't care, to the point where it's like, wow, man, these guys, I feel like if Americans don't wake up and start being good to each other again, I feel like it's going to be too late. We all knew that this whole, I knew immediately when they were like talking about giving out free school. I was like, this is not going to end well. These guys know they are not going to be able to do this, and they are going to lead people on to get votes, and then they're going to be like, oh man, well, at least we tried. They knew this was going to happen. It is unconstitutional for him to do that. Like, he could postpone your loans. He could be like, yeah, we're just going to postpone them for the rest of your life or something, or until, just set a date and be like, yeah, that's postponed until another president comes in and either revokes that or extends it or whatever. You know what I mean? That's literally all he can do. That's all he can do. He can't give you free money. Like, he can't just be like, oh yeah, well, we're just going to go ahead and give it away. He cannot do that. It was immediately going to get struck down unless there was a Supreme Court that was like, oh yeah, whatever. He can just have whatever power he wants. And then we start getting closer to a dictatorship. That's when we don't want that. And I feel like they do this stuff just to try to get that enough people to give them enough power to make that so it's, what would these people do? I get it, man. Like, I get it. I struggle with the school loan stuff too. Like, I get it. But you got to ask yourself, you have to ask yourself, what worse could they do with that ultimate power that you're willing to cede to them to get rid of your school loans? I mean, worst case scenario, I'm not telling you how to vote. Like, I'm really not. But I mean, think about it. If the Republicans are like, yeah, let's give everybody a tax cut, that $1,000 a year or whatever tax cut is going to be more beneficial to you if your gas prices go back down to regular, if all of the other stuff comes back, all the stuff that Biden tossed out to make things harder. if you had a Republican in there doing that kind of stuff, that's going to be more beneficial to you than them telling you, like, than whatever else, honestly, at the end of the day, that they could think of to do to take away either more of your freedoms or I don't know, man. You just, like, it's kind of all of our problem. It is kind of all of our problem, because if we don't do nothing about it as a free America, we're not going to be a free America much longer. We're going to be a dictatorship, or we're going to, or whatever thing they decide to turn us into, man. You're going to have a whole bunch of people in prison because they didn't call somebody by their pronoun. That's how ridiculous it is. I mean, this is a gaming channel. Look at Lena Khan trying to block Xbox over nonsense. Do you really want judges like her? Do you really want Supreme Court judges like her that are like, yeah, we're going to do whatever we want, activists? We do not need any activists in these government positions. Like, we don't. Like, we need people that are going to get up, that are going to be respectful, that are going to go do their job, and they're going to try to be the best they can be for the American people. Just like you're expected to be the best you can be at your job, these guys need to be better. There's so much waste in government. Like, get rid of all that waste, and then maybe we could talk about doling out free freaking money for college. But no, we need to get rid of the waste. We've got to get rid of some programs to create new ones. So I don't know, man. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's 21, almost 22 minutes of me just ranting about this. So if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. My channel's mostly gaming, but we welcome everybody. So, all right, man. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.